Good evening, Bahamas. You're tuned in to NB12 Weekend, broadcasting from Cable 12 Studios on Robinson Road. Coming up tonight in news, environmentalists satisfied with a court injunction halting dredging in Bimini waters. Another major drug bust off West Bay Street. Plus, the Bahamas' unique marine life to be featured in an international magazine. I'm Paige McCartney, and we've got those stories and so much more coming up on NB12 Weekend that starts right now. Welcome once again to NB12 Weekend. As the controversial Resorts World Bimini Ferry Terminal dredging comes to a stop following a decision by the Privy Council in London, the Bahamas National Trust tells our news team they welcome the move. The court's decision came in the midst of concerns over dredging and how its impact on Bimini's coral reefs. The National Trust is just one group that had previously called for a halt to the work, citing environmental concerns. Our Dana Smith has more.
In the wake of a decision by London's Privy Council to grant an injunction halting dredging activities from continuing in Bimini, officials from the Bahamas National Trust say the move will allow for a necessary pause in which unanswered questions can be addressed.
With all due respect to Resorts World Bimini, what they are doing is essentially an unproven product. And what we are concerned about is you are taking something that is proven, something that has taken hundreds of thousands of years to get to the condition that it's in, and you're possibly jeopardizing it without being able to provide a plan for remediation or mitigation. And that is perhaps what's most troubling to the BNT and most concerned citizens.
Dredging was underway in Bimini waters in order to make way for a ferry terminal that will allow the Resorts World Bimini cruise ship to dock. The Resorts World development has been touted by the government as a means to boost Bimini's economy. However, the dredging has been a point of contention for environmentalists who have questioned how the dredging could affect the island's coral reefs. The matter has attracted international attention, with the Bimini Blue Coalition leading local efforts to stop the dredging. The group has questioned if permits for the work were properly obtained. After the group lost a legal bid here to gain an injunction against the work, the Privy Council in London has now granted an injunction ordering Resorts World Bimini to stop dredging. BNT officials say they welcome the move as they and other environmentalists have questions about the dredging activities.
We're pleased at the injunction because it does allow for pause. It does allow for everybody to sit back and take a second look at what is happening at Bimini. It allows quite frankly, it allows the resort worlds to actually put everything that they have on the table, share it with the public, let people that are against it be able to see what they're doing, and then give opportunity for their supporters to comment from an informed position.
For its part, Malaysian-based Genting Group, which owns Resorts World Bimini, has said it is following all the appropriate laws and has all the necessary permits. Public Affairs Director Michelle Malcolm said in a statement, quote, "We have all permits in hand and will provide the necessary documentation to lift the injunction expeditiously so that we can continue to provide Biminites with jobs, complete the construction of the cruise pier, and open the full destination resort that Biminites and tourists alike are looking forward to." In calling for a stop to the work, the BNT had voiced concerns over the amount of silt coming from the dredging site, which officials said could damage Bimini's marine environment.
These reefs are already stressed by natural conditions, climate change, the warming of the water, fishing pressure, etc. They don't need this additional pressure of unmanaged, unmitigated, unabated pouring out of all of this siltation.
BNT officials say they understand the importance of economic stimulation, but it should not be done at risk to the environment.
Whilst we are always aware of the importance of providing jobs, we think that you cannot provide jobs while risking the very thing that makes Bimini so attractive.
Reporting for NB12 Weekend, I'm Dana Smith.
Well, the Free National Movement chiming in on that injunction ordered by the Privy Council yesterday. In a statement, the party said the move is an indictment of the Christie government, adding the injunction underscores the government's failure to protect the natural resources in Bimini. The statement reads that the court ruling is evidence that the Christie administration has neglected its duty once again, causing not only damage to the country's international reputation, but what may be permanent damage to Bimini's seabed and diving and fishing industries. The FNM says the government must come clean and answer the questions raised by the court and apologize to the people of the Bahamas. Well, world-renowned diver and president of the Bahamas Diving Association, Neil Watson, is also one of many speaking out over the work in Bimini. Watson, who's also a Guinness World Record holder and head of the Neil Watson Undersea Adventures, told our news team that he has concerns about how the dredging could potentially affect Bimini's coral reefs and ecosystem. Watson said he started the first recreational dive operation in Bimini in 1975 and is still very much involved in promoting Bimini as a diver's paradise.
This island has been noted for fishing and diving since the days of Hemingway, since the 30s. And if the reefs are protected, it'll sustain the population of Bimini for eternity, you know. And unfortunately, you can't build a reef. You can build a hotel, you can build a resort, a shopping center. You can't build clear water. You can't build a beautiful reef. You know, this is a gift. God gives you this, and you know, we're the stewards to protect it.
Watson said Bimini's crystal clear waters and spectacular reefs are what make Bimini unique, and referring to photos shared on social media showing aerial views of the dredging, Watson said the work is already causing silt to spread across the water. He said this could cause damage to the coral reefs.
I don't claim to be, you know, a scientist or an engineer. I don't know if there's an answer. I just know that right now, if I fly over Bimini, or from the photographs I saw, two-thirds of the reefs that normally we would dive on, you couldn't take a diver because it's so silted up. It would be like diving in a glass of milk. I mean, there's no visibility there, which means you can't see the fish.
And another significant drug seizure has been reported just one day after a large bust, which means police have seized more than $1 million worth of marijuana in just 2 days. According to police, officers were tipped off about the drugs, which were found on board an 18-foot Boston whaler vessel in the area known as the Sand Track near St. Albans Drive, West Bay Street. Officer in charge of the Drug Enforcement Unit, Superintendent Sam Butler, estimates that the 250 pounds of marijuana have a street value of $350,000.
Drug Enforcement Unit is again elated to again be bringing to you another major drug seizure. It was sometime around 6 p.m. when the Drug Enforcement Unit converged to this area in the Western District, where we boarded a 18-foot Boston whaler and found a number of suspected marijuana packages.
Butler said 6 Bahamian men between the ages of 23 and 48 were near the vessels when the drugs were confiscated and have been taken into custody. They will be charged sometime next week. On Thursday, police uncovered 607 pounds of marijuana and 37 packages inside of a van registered to the Maya Company, which is contracted by the Department of Water and Sewage. Those drugs have an estimated street value of $900,000. 3 Bahamian men and 1 Jamaican man are expected to be charged in connection with that bust sometime next week as well. And a 46-year-old man is in custody after he was arrested for possession of dangerous drugs yesterday. According to police, it was just after 8 last night when officers from the Southern Division executed a search warrant at a home located on Fritz Lane. Inside, they uncovered an unspecified quantity of marijuana packaged for sale. The suspect was taken into custody and will appear in court early next week to face drug-related charges. Well, a great deal of history surrounds the International Association of Athletics Federation and the staging of the inaugural World Relays right here in the Bahamas today, which gives the country a unique status. The World Relays just happens to be the first attempt of the IAAF at a significant event during the second century of its existence. Prime Minister Perry Christie glowed during the international press conference that officially announced the event to the world. That was in September of 2013. At that time, the Prime Minister linked the government of the Bahamas covering the cost of the event directly to the nation's commitments to its athletics and national sports program. For his part, IAAF President Lamine Diack had earlier expressed delight that the Bahamas had came forward to host the World Relays. The teams gathered at the National Stadium just this afternoon for the opening ceremony and the first round of competition. Of course, we'll have details on who won in tomorrow's newscast. Stick with us when NB12 returns. How to protect your business from internal fraud. Plus, Underwater Week starts today. We'll tell you more about those and other stories when we come right back.